everyone, my name is Rose. I'm your treatment coordinator and dental hygienist here at Bromsgrove Dental Specialists. So the first day we opened Bromsgrove Dental Specialists was actually the 19th of May, and RPA Dental has been by our side throughout this entire process. What I love about RPA Dental, honestly, are the people. If I could tell you all their names, I probably would. But no, they've just been absolutely brilliant and supportive throughout everything. My favorite feature about Bromsgrove Dental Specialists, to be honest, is I can't really choose one, but if I had to, it would probably be our patients. And I know that's a bit of a cliche answer, but I just love having patients come in, feel comfortable, feel good about themselves. I usually have a chat with them and sit with them over here, support them, be by their side throughout the entire process, especially if they're extremely anxious or nervous patients. What I love about this practice, honestly, there's too much to even count, but how it has inspired me actually is to inspire me to become an even better clinician, a better healthcare practitioner. Yes, I do feel good when I look at everything and everything's beautiful, how they say that we eat with our eyes, but I just feel really welcomed, I feel really comfortable, and that's what we want our patients to feel as well. And how it's inspired me, not just as a clinician, but also as a content creator, kind of in the background of being here at BDS, is I just look at everything, look at the art, the colors, and I try to think, oh, how is the patient gonna look at this and how are they gonna feel? And that's kind of what I try to do. And so hopefully it shines through. So let's see, we're waiting for you.
Hi, we're here today at Bromsgrove Dental Specialists. We're here to look at Gurwinder's practice, created June this year, and I want to show you some features on the chair that he decided to choose. Here we have the Sternweber 380 TRC. So one thing that was important to Gurwinder when choosing his dental chair was the specialist functionality of the package. Doing implant surgery, so he needed a peristaltic pump to work with his implant motor. We have an implant motor built onto this, and it has a fluorescent LED to highlight composite. We also have piezo scaler on board the chair. One of the main benefits of the Sternweber 380 TRC is the actual chair itself. This is a knee brake chair that allows face-to-face consultation with the patient. As the patient sits down, the clinician can get right up to the patient to speak to them, and the light comes on automatically. The light that we have on this chair has a no-touch sensor and 3 different colour temperatures that can be changed by pressing the button on the side here. This allows different colour temperatures for different surgical procedures. It also has a composite mode which integrates with the curing light. As the room's exceptionally large, we couldn't reach for an X-ray on the wall, so Gurwinder opted for one of the X-rays built onto the chairs. This allows for additional functionality whilst not compromising on the position of the chair package. We also have an orbital sphere on the Hypersphere X-ray. This allows the X-ray to go into any position. One lovely feature for patient comfort is the pneumatic headrest. This allows orbital flow of the headrest and can get into any position, especially good for children as well. On board the package, we can have an integrated apex locator which we can plug in on the underside here. This allows a screen and can send out to a third-party TV to provide us with dimensional eyes for the apex. We have LED lights on board the package which also assist us when using the apex locator, as they will give us a visual indication of where we are on the apex.
My name is Dr Gurwinder Singh Dhesi. I'm a specialist prosthodontist and practice principal here at Bromsgrove Dental Specialists. So Bromsgrove Dental Specialists has been open for around 4 months now. We opened in May 2025. Some of the biggest challenges we face thus far are initially in terms of getting the facility set up. It's very difficult knowing which company to go with when it comes to doing the building work. We're a fully private spot practice, so there was loads of options for deciding, going with turnkey project companies, trying to get other builders involved and get dental people to do the equipment. But in the end, we decided to go with RPA and BH Projects to do our work. I spoke to all the sort of big players in doing this type of work, and what stood out with RPA and BH Projects was I found the attention to detail and them really understanding what I was trying to achieve. This was our first practice, but we wanted it to be really special, something unique, which I'm sure a lot of people say, and everyone has their own vision, but I felt that they understood where I was coming from and they'd be able to make that dream come to life. I found my building in October 2024, and I spent the rest of that time trying to decide a company to work with to do the project. And there was, I think it was a show in Birmingham where I went to look at chairs and so forth. And I'd spoken to a few other people, and towards the end of the show, I installed the Stern Weber stand. I met Adam, and it was towards the end of the day, and they were almost finished for the day. And I saw the chair, and it looked quite different to all the other dental chairs. And I went and I asked him to show it to me. And I couldn't get over all the additional features compared to other chairs. And I've worked with all the different sort of big brands out there for a number of years, but I'd not come across Stern Weber before. And a large majority of my work is implant-based. And the big selling point of one of the top of the range chair is the fact that the implant motor and the endo motor even is integrated into the chair. So it means you're not having to have that as an additional sort of element set up, and it makes things a lot more streamlined, a lot more tidier, which I loved. So it was actually Adam who spoke to me about my project in detail, and he felt that I should speak to Tracy from BH Projects, Tracy and Jeff. And it took me a few weeks to make that call, but oh, am I glad I did, because I was actually going to work with someone else. But from our first conversation, again, Tracy was someone that once you meet someone like her, she herself will admit there isn't many people like her. She totally gets, what you're talking about. She will direct you and hold your hand throughout the project. Nothing is too much for them, and they can achieve with you whatever you want, really. And they're very transparent with everything that's involved. They're very skilled at what they do. And with Adam, Tracy and Jeff and the whole team, it's a perfect combination, for doing these types of very high-end practices where principals have an attention to detail and don't let the small things slide. And that's what we're about. It translates to our dentistry. We want to try and create something which is an extension of the type of dentistry we do and give patients that ultimate patient experience. And when they walk in here, and we've been open about 4 months now, but every single patient is so impressed with what we've achieved. Not just patients, other sort of professionals from the industry, and they say there isn't many places like it. And we love that, really, because that's what we always wanted, and we have it thanks to that amazing team. So we bought the building in October 2024. I spent 3-4 months deciding on which team I wanted to work with. And once we decided that, the building work started it was end of January, and we were done in April. So it was about a 12-week process, which is fantastic. We spent a lot of time planning everything. But when you work with the right teams, considering the scale of what we were working with, it was, there was nothing here. Everything was gutted out, and to the level that we've done it, it's remarkable. So the dental chairs. So Stern Weber has quite a big range, as do a lot of the other companies. But for us, we felt this chair was the one to go for. So a few reasons why. Number one, it's a knee break chair. So I'm a prosthodontist, so I do a lot of denture work as well. And when patients are able to sit down and you're able to do the jaw registration and things like that, look at them head on without their legs raised, it's excellent. So that for me was a big selling point. A lot of the other chairs, the more high-end chairs, they don't have that option. Some do, some don't. So the fact that this has, that was a big plus. Second thing is the implant motor being integrated into the dental chair. That's fantastic. For me, that was a game changer. There isn't anything else on the market that has that. That was a reason why we went for this one. And the third thing I think is a combination of everything else. So the comfort, you know, it's an incredibly comfortable chair, as comfortable as any of the other top sort of chairs out there. So my third favorite thing about the chair is the X-ray machine being attached to the chair. And it's on a ball sort of mount. So you can move the X-ray to exactly the position you need. It's very annoying when you position the X-ray, you walk away and it moves a little bit. This doesn't. You lock it in and it's there. And that is fantastic as well. And then lastly, I would add just everything else about it. You know, every little aspect is done to a very high standard. The upholstery, it's a comfortable chair. The PCU board, everything is nice and easy. We can, you know, look at videos if we're unsure of something. So it's fantastic, really. So overall, I'm glad I made this decision. So in terms of giving advice, I almost feel like I'm not in a position to give advice because we're quite sort of young on our journey. But perhaps to my younger self, I would say with any sort of venture that you go on, I think the key is to go with your gut instinct, because naturally you will meet loads of people who will want your business. And you know, if something doesn't feel right, you've got to trust that. And equally, if something does feel right, you push on with that. And that's what I've tried to do. Certainly from how everything turned out, when I met Adam, then I met Tracy and Jeff, I think things were meant to be. So, you know, I was very impressed with everything they were saying. So we, you know, pushed on, and I'm very glad we did. So I would say that would be the main thing. And then the other thing also is it's a long road. You know, there will be stumbling blocks throughout the journey. You have to, you know, have very clear vision as to what you're trying to achieve. Be patient, and it will all work out in the end. It always does. But don't be scared of a few hiccups on the way. So to finish off, I'd like to say a big thank you to RPA, to Adam. I always say this every time I meet him, to introducing me to Jeff and Tracy, and I think for the long-term support as well. So we've been open about 4 months now, so I've been working with them almost a year now, and nothing is too much for them. If you need anything, you give them a call and they'll get back to you. It's that long-term support, especially when you're working with sort of chairs and things and stuff that can, in essence, require a lot of maintenance. You need to be involved with the right people that you know will look after you long term and build those relationships with you that will last for, you know, a long, long time.